Oil extended last week's losses, falling nearly 2% over surge in COVID-19 infections in the United States and Europe. Asian shares off on a hesitant start as surging coronavirus cases in Europe and the United States undermine the global outlook. Good afternoon and welcome to Economy News. Oil extended last week's losses, falling nearly 2% as a surge in COVID-19 infections in the United States and Europe prompted concern over crude demand, while the prospect of increased supply also hit sentiment. Brent crude was down 70 cents at $41.07, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate dropped 69 cents to $39.16, having fallen more than $1 shortly after the start of trading. Brent declined 2.7% last week and WTI down 2.5%. The United States reported its highest number yet of new coronavirus infections in 2 days through Saturday, while in France, new cases hit a record of more than 50,000 on Sunday, underlying the severity of the outbreak. Asian shares started off the week on a hesitant start as surging coronavirus cases in Europe and the United States undermined the global outlook, while China's leaders meet to ponder the future of the economic giant. The U.S. has seen its highest ever number of new COVID-19 cases in the past 2 days, while France also observed undesired case records and Spain announced a state of emergency. That combined found no clear progress on a U.S. stimulus package to pull S&P 500 futures down 0.6%. Euro Stoxx 50 futures eased 0.7% and FTSE futures 0.4%. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan slightly higher, 0.1%, however, still short of its recent 31-month peak. Japan's Nikkei wavered either side of steady, and South Korea's main index lost 0.3%. Pandemic-stricken EU member states have clarified they intend to fully tap the €390 billion recovery fund grants leaders agreed in July. The extent of how far they intend to avail themselves of cheap loans the European Commission is also offering remains ambiguous. Countries including Spain and Portugal have expressed their interest in the tens of billions of euros in low-cost loans available by the EU as part of the joint borrowing program. Italy has, for its part, signaled its desire to use the entirety of the loans, while many of rich northern European states are likely to spurn them altogether. Europe's finance ministries face a complex set of calculations as they seek to make up their minds. The EU's Coronavirus Recovery Fund is split between non-refundable, highly prized grants and a loan program under which the Commission will effectively borrow on behalf of other countries. And finally, Apple's top iPhone assembler, Taiwan-based Foxconn, has prepared a task force to fend off the growing clout of Chinese electronics manufacturers Luxshare. More in the following report by Noura Al-Husainan.
Apple supplier Luxshare unnerves Foxconn as U.S.-China feud speeds supply chain shift. Apple's top iPhone assembler, Taiwan-based Foxconn, has set up a task force to fend off the growing clout of Chinese electronics manufacturers Luxshare, which it believes possess a serious threat to its dominance. The project was initiated by Foxconn's founder to target Dongguan-based Luxshare, which is little known internationally but is poised to become the first mainland China-headquartered firm to assemble iPhones. The task force, which the sources say was created last year, has been looking into Luxshare's technology, expansion plan, hiring strategy, and whether the company, which currently makes only 5% of Foxconn's revenue, is supported by any Chinese government entity. While the U.S.-China trade war and the COVID-19 crisis have intensified pressure on global supply chains, an increasingly acrimonious tech feud between the economic giants has also prompted Beijing to strengthen efforts on creating world-leading local tech firms. Luxshare has also received over $148.80 million in government subsidies since 2016. To the first half of this year, roughly half of this sum came in 2019 alone.
And that's it for the Economy News. Stay tuned with Taslima Rasool and the latest in sports.